So today we're back for chapter 7. No, it's chapter 8, you guys. Chapter 8, lesson 5, volume of pyramids. Something I want you guys to take a peek at right here. This is the formula for the volume of a pyramid. But I do want you guys to know that how do we get that base right there? Okay, the base is typically equal to the length times the width, right? So the other way we could do this is we could say the volume is equal to 1/3. And then we could just say, instead of saying the base, we could just say the length times the width, because that is the same as the base times the height. Okay, I'm okay if you guys do it either way. I think for me, I'm going to teach you guys doing the length times the width times the height and then dividing it by 3. And then as you guys get a little bit more proficient in this section here, then we'll transition to this over here. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at problem number 1. So find the volume of the pyramid round to the nearest tenths. So we will say that the volume is going to be 1/3 the length times the width times the height. Okay, so it's just a matter of filling in the blanks here, you guys. So we'll say 1/3 times the length. Let's go ahead and use 3.2 for the length. For the width, why don't we use 1.4? And then the height is 2.8. So what I think I would have you guys do then is, let's just go ahead and do 3.2 times 1.4 times 2.8, and let's go ahead and divide that by 3, okay? So when I divide that by 3, I'm going to go ahead and get 4.2 inches, and we're dealing with volume, so we're going to cube that, okay? So again, I did 2.8 times 3.2 times 1.4 in any order that you want to, and then we just take 1/3 of that, and when you take 1/3 of a number, it's the same thing as dividing by 3, all right? Let's go ahead and address problem number 2, and I think we can do so without scrolling down the screen here, you guys. I'll just go ahead and erase all the blue text that you see, and we're going to start off and we're going to do the same thing. Actually, with this problem here, you guys, it's a little bit trickier here, and I almost made a mistake. So if you can see that the base on this one is just a rectangular base, so we can just do the length times the width. This here is a triangular base. So to find the area of the triangle, we're just going to have to do 8.1 times 6.4, and then we're going to have to divide that by 2, right? So I'll divide that by 2, and then I'll multiply by 11. So the volume on this one here, we'll say that it's going to be 1/3, and I'm going to shorten some things up a little bit here, 1/3 of the base times the height. Now let's go ahead and do volume is equal to 1/3. Now let's go ahead and find the base. So the base is going to be 8.1 times 6.4. So let's do that, and that's going to give me 51.84. Now I want to be careful, because that would be if the bottom was a rectangle, but the bottom is half of a rectangle. So what I need to do is do this 51.84, and I need to divide that by 2, or take half of that. So that's going to give me 25.92. So then the base is 25.92. And then the height is just going to be 11. So let's do 25.92. We'll go ahead and multiply that times 11, and that's going to give me 285.12. So let's see, I guess I got a little bit of room here. So let's say that the volume then is equal to 1/3. Again, 25.92 times 11 gives me 285.12. So we'll say times 285.12. And to take 1/3 of that, we can just divide that by 3. I'm going to go ahead and change the pen color here, you guys, just so we can see a little bit better. So that's going to give me 95.04. So then the volume of this is 95.04, and we're dealing with meters, so it's going to be meters. We're doing volume, so it's going to be raised to the 3rd power. Okay, a little bit tricky, but as always, you know, if you guys have questions, just check in with one of us. Don't stress out about this. Just do the best that you can. Okay, let's move on down to problem number 3. So with this one here, it's a little bit different, you guys. The rectangular pyramid shown has a volume of 90 cubic inches. Find the height. Oh, that's a little bit different, right? So what they're doing is they're telling me what the volume is, and they're asking me to figure out what the height is. So we should be okay with this. We're going to start off and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to say that the volume is equal to, it's going to be 1/3 times the length times the width times the height. And again, just like last time, the base is the same as the length times the width, right? So let's go ahead and say that the volume, and they're, whoops, let me back up a little bit here, you guys, because they're telling me what the volume is in this problem. They're telling me what the volume is, 90. So I'm actually going to put in a 90 right here, you guys. Okay, so 90 is equal to, sorry, that's kind of sloppy. So 90 is equal to 1/3 the length times the height times the width, actually, times the height. So you guys can see right away then that if you do 9 times 5, that's the base, that's going to be 45. So I'm going to rewrite this equation here, and I'm going to say 90 is going to be equal to 1/3 of 45 times the height. So let's go ahead and take care of 1/3 of 45 before we do anything else. So 1/3 of 45, that's just going to give me a 15, right? So I'm going to rewrite the equation. I'll do it on the other side here. And I'm going to rewrite the equation. I'm going to keep the 90 on the left. Now we have 1/3 of 45, so that's going to be 15. So 90 is equal to 15 times h. 15 times h is just 15h. So now we just need to divide both sides by 15. And then the 15's reduce. 15 over 15 is the same as 1. So we're left with the height is equal to 90 divided by 15. So then the height is going to be equal to 6. Okay? All right, we got one more to go here, you guys, and then we will be done. So we're looking at the last one here, number 4. And so recall here, you guys, that the volume of this is going to be 1/3 the length times the width times the height, okay? Or, since the length times the width is the same as at the base, we can say that the volume is going to be 1/3 of the base times the height, right? Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to find the base. Now the base is going to be half of 8 times 3, because this is a triangle down here. So I can do 8 times 3, and I can get myself a 24. So what I'm going to do is say that the volume, and actually the volume they're telling me is 44 on this one. So I'm going to say that the volume is going to be 1/3. Now we said that the base was going to be 12, right, you guys? 3 times 8 gives me 24, but we have a triangle, so that would be half of that, so that would be 12. So 1/2 times 12, and I said 1/2, we need to make that a 1/3. Sorry, you guys. So 1/3, the base, which is 12, times the height. Right? So what we have then is we have 44 is equal to 1/3 of 12. So 1/3 of 12 is going to give me a 4. So that's going to be 4h. Now I just need to divide both sides by 4. So let's divide the right by 4. Let's divide the left by 4. So then the height will be 11. Okay? Hopefully you guys get that. I know it's kind of tricky. I may have screwed things up a little bit with you guys with this, mentioning the 1/2 instead of the 1/3. But just do your best on this assignment and all the other ones. And as always, you guys, just check in with us if myself or one of your other teachers, if you guys have any questions on this. Okay? Until next time.